So, all right, guys, let's continue with the next part. So, I just want to go a little bit more deep dive inside the Ansible, right? Even though this is just a fourth or fifth class of the Ansible, but I think this might be the right time to discuss something more about how Ansible work behind the scene. But I believe it takes 2 4 more classes, guys, to explain you why Ansible it is intelligence tool, or I can say, and how it work on the RHEL, that's called resource abstraction layer, right? So my plan, guys, today to explain you a little bit more about the Ansible, plus some of the things, how they how, how they call the respective commands, right? So what exactly I'm going to do today? I have right now one controller node, right? So this is the controller node I have over here. This is my controller node. Let me log in over here, and I launch one instance today, and I want this instance to be work as my managed node, or I can say my target node. Okay, the important thing about this node is it is a very new node, recently installed new operating system. So I have one Red Hat version 8 newly installed. Okay, nothing is there. And when I say nothing is there, it means it is the newly installed Red Hat OS. And whenever, guys, you install any Red Hat operating system, they don't come up with the yum configured. Okay, again, I'm repeating, guys, they are not come up with the yum configured. They have the yum command normally, okay, but newly installed operating system don't have the yum configured. So why is it important to discuss this point over here? So let me, guys, show you one of the demo where you'll see you'll stuck in one of the basic command on the Ansible, and then I start talk a little bit more in depth over here. So what I'm technically going to do here. So this one of my new operating system, and in this operating system, if you try to run the command yum repo list, so those who know the yum, I think you know this command. So this command say, in this OS there is no yum repository has been configured. Okay, and our plan is to configure this node having the IP address 120. So my plan is to configure IP 120 for something, right? So for example, let's say I want IP 120 to be configured as a Apache web server. And how to configure Apache web server, that's that part you guys know. Maybe you know manually, plus you also now you know how to configure any of the node as Apache web server with the help of Ansible also, right? But today, when I start again doing the same thing to configuring the Apache web server on IP 120, you will see that it will fail. And why is fail? Because the node or the managed node that we are going to use, okay, as my inventory as a 120 IP is newly installed, and in this newly installed uh, node, I don't have the yum. So what I mean by this, let me show you with the demo. So first of all, what I'm going to do, you guys know, in the Ansible, if you want to use or configure any node, you have to first create the inventory. So let me open my this file ip.txt, and let me change this IP here as 120. So 120 would be my today my target node. Okay, and let me do a very quick testing. Okay, how many nodes I have right now as my inventory? So only one node. Let me check my connectivity. Do I have the connectivity or not? So yeah, it is ping pong, means technically is success over here. My control node is connected to IP 120. Okay, so why I want IP 120 to be my managed node? Obviously, I want to configure this guy. There's the only use case, right? Why I want managed node to be to connect to the controller node and to be part of the inventory of the controller node. Only one reason would be I want this managed node to be configured for something. Because we are using Ansible used for CM, means called configuration management. But what exactly you want to configure here? It your choice here. Maybe you want to configure Hadoop, you want to install some Python library, you want to install some cloud services, you want to install some client services, maybe databases. It depend, right? So let's take the same example. I would like to configure Apache web server. Okay, and how to configure Apache web server, you guys know. So I can use the command Ansible. I say go to all the inventory, and I would like to install some packages over here, and the name of the package is Apache web server, is means HTTPD, and I want my state to be installed or present. Okay, so till date, guys, this command we run multiple time. Okay, but till date, right, this command always run successful. There is no challenge come up. Okay, but before I run this command, let me go to my manage node, and if I show you here, if I show you here, the HTTP is not yet installed. Okay, so do you want to install with the Ansible? If yes, then go to your control node, run this command, and let's see what happened. So, so this command is trying to install this software, and today might be the first time you will see this command fail, and this failed with the red color, right? And they say we're trying to install this software. The message come is failed to installed. And if you try to do a little bit more research on this message, they say failure is because the package is not installed. Okay, so what I'm trying to show you guys here is I'm going to show you over here is whenever you use Ansible. Okay, so Ansible is just a management tool. Ansible only managing the thing for us. They and for managing, we as a user or the developer or as admin or IT guys, we have to send the instruction to Ansible and declare something. Now it is your choice. You want to declare with the ad hoc command. You want to declare with the playbook, right? That would be your choice. Playbook is, we discussed yesterday about the code. So either you can declare with the command line, that's called ad hoc. You can declare it with the playbook by writing the code. So as a user, you have to just declare the things. Okay. But what Ansible do, whatever you declare, Ansible will go to their respective managed node and say that one of my user asked me to come to you and do something. Okay, and that do something I don't know how to do. I know how to call that command. Okay, and then command is the one who will do something for me. So technically what I'm talking about here is, because as a user you declare the Ansible and say we have to do something on the package, and how you said to the Ansible, by this command. Okay, I have to do something on the package. Okay, so I want Ansible, you go to the managed node, you go to managed node, first explore about the managed node. Just try to find this Red Hat 8 or Ubuntu. And if it's Red Hat 8, so you are the one, you have to call the respective command. Means you don't have to install software because you don't know how to install the software. But you have to call the respective command. And we know in the Red Hat 8, the command is yum. So Ansible behind the scene call the yum command and ask the yum command to install the software. Now challenge in this OS is, right, in this OS, because this is the newly installed Red Hat operating system, in this OS we don't have yum yet configured. Okay, and because yum is not yet configured, and if somebody try to use the yum, either you use manually, either you can just manually go and use the yum command, yum install httpd or vsftpd or mysql, whatever you want to install over here. So either you install, either you call yum manually, or somebody on your behalf, and that somebody is Ansible, who call the yum manually, sorry, who call the yum for us, right? In any of the cases it won't work. So technically what I'm trying to tell you guys over here is, right, Ansible is an intelligence tool, but Ansible always call the command behind the scene. Okay, if that system where Ansible is calling the command, if that command is not available, or if the command is not configured, Ansible won't help you. Okay, that will fail. So technically you should know something more about internally, okay, which command Ansible is calling behind the scene. And second, if for example in this case, if Ansible is calling yum command, then you should know something about yum also, right? That system is yum has been configured or is not yet configured. So technically what I'm trying to tell you here is, guys, if you have some kind of use cases, for example our use case is to configure Apache web server. So in your use cases, guys, if you try to write the steps, step 1, step 2, step 3, step 4, okay, you have to also think something more about as a prerequisite. Okay, prerequisite means in this OS, or in this server, okay, if we want to install the software, okay, and for installing the software, what is the basic requirement, what is the basic prerequisite we have? Okay, does this OS does this OS work on yum? And if it's work on yum, the yum is configured. Okay, and if yum is not configured, then where we have to pick the software from? Do you have to pick the software from DVD? We have to pick the software from internet. From where we have to pick the software from? And guys, right now I'm considering that everybody now here is comfortable with the yum, right? Because I shared some of my few lecture on the yum, so I think everybody is now comfortable with the yum. So technically what I'm talking about finally, right, if your requirement is to configure something, okay, and in your requirement, if one of the steps coming up is to install the software like package, okay, so you should know for the package what is the basic need. For package, the basic need is yum, or maybe basic need a DNF command, or maybe apd-get command. Okay, so you to ask your OS, does you have the yum config or not? If yum is not configured, either you go manually to this OS, configure the yum. But guys, again, the one or the good practice say, okay, if you are configuring any operating system for something, for example, this IP120, okay, if you're configuring the system for Apache web server, or maybe for Docker, or maybe for databases, right? If you're configuring, either do all the configuration manually, sorry, spelling wrong, either do all the configuration manual, or do all the configuration with automation. I've seen a lot of time, guys, in the corporate world, when we want to configure something on the OS, sometimes we use some part manual and we use some part automation. So it's not good practice. Why I will keep on discussing those points in some minute. Okay, but it's not good practice, right? Either configure the entire system manual, okay, or either configure entire system automation. Okay, one of the reason is one of the reason is, right, by chance, let's say, in this OS, you have to create a directory, and creating directory is pretty simple, right? We can use mkdir command to create the directory. Okay, why you have to create a directory? Maybe some of the requirement we have to create directory and put some file there. So creating directory I done manual, and other part we have done with automation. Okay, and the biggest drawback in the manual thing is, okay, because you know what, if your server in the front of you, and if you think some part is missing, you manually go manually create and create the directory, and then whatever thing you want to achieve, you just go and achieve there. Okay, but same system you want to configure again one more time. So all the thing that you do manual, normally we forgot. Okay, and and some of the part, if you're trying, if you already have written the scripts or the automation scripts, right, and try to run the script, it will fail, because some of the part you did manual, and that manual part we always stuck, or we always forgot sometime. Okay, so what I mean by this, again, it's not right now important, we will discuss this part in detail, but my final say here is, right, if you want to configure some server or the operating system, either do everything manual, so we know we have to do it manual, and we have to write those steps somewhere, so we can keep on checking and keep on writing those command and finally achieve what exactly we want to achieve. Or, okay, if you do something automation or with automate, right, don't try to do anything with the manual. Okay, because why we want automation? Because same server we have to configure hundreds and thousands of times, and I want same server to be configured every time without missing any file or folder, or without missing any steps. And because we are into the automation training, that's called Ansible automation training, so I suggest, even though you want to create a directory, create with the Ansible. Don't use mkdir command. Same thing we are going to do here. If you want to configure yum, don't configure yum manually. Okay, configure the yum with the Ansible. That's what we are going to do right now. Okay, so guys, from today's class, I am going to start one kind of project. Actually, you can think in this way, and at the end of this project, it goes to 2 3 or 4 days. By end of the project, most of the Ansible concept will cover, and most of the advanced concept Ansible will cover, and finally you'll see, you will gonna create one great script that can be used in multiple real environment. Okay, so after the 2 or 3 days, right, you'll see you will have your own very advanced configure load balancer. So we are going to configure some HA proxy or Nginx kind of load balancer and attach with multiple web servers. Okay, so I'll go step by step. Okay, and we are going to create a script in such a way. Okay, and guys, the good thing about the script is we have to create a script in such a way that will work in any of the environment. Right now I'm using Red Hat 8, same script you use in Ubuntu, same script if you use in Red Hat 6. Your script should be configured in such a way, okay, that will work in all the environment. Okay, if means if you're running your script again this OS, and if this OS is not config yum, so your script should be so intelligent. First they config yum for us, and but if this OS is already configured with yum, so script will skip those part. Script will skip those part. So finally, what I'm trying to say here is, right, if you are doing some automation, you should be very much, your script should be very much mature. Every bit they check, and if some of the part is missing, they will do for us. You don't have to configure anything with your hand, or I can say the manual thing. Okay, so I think very highly I try to I trying to convey you that this is the newly installed operating system. Nothing is there, only the base Red Hat 8 is there. And if your requirement is to do something, right, so it is your choice. Either you can go for manual or you can go for automation, right? Obviously our plan is to go for automation. Okay, so technically what I'm going to do here, same steps, but in this OS where I have the IP address 120, so on IP 120 what I'm going to do, first I would like to configure my yum server. Okay, or my yum configure. So my first step to be today is to configure yum. This is my first step. Okay, then second step, obviously after yum configure, then we get go install the software for Apache, and all the step will be same the way we always do. Okay, then we go for third step, then fourth step, fifth step. So some of the steps you can see it will be repeated, but some more step you'll see today come up. Okay, maybe today I am going to configure Apache Web Server. You guys know about Apache Web Server, right? I believe. So by default, Apache Web Server work on port number 80. So maybe you have some requirement come up. Okay, you don't want to use the port number 80 in the Apache Web Server. Okay, you want to change the port number, let's say 8081. Okay, so how can you change the port? So again, we'll see with the Ansible how we can change the port number of our Apache server. Or maybe your system is with configured with pre-firewall. So how can you disable the firewall? But if, disabling the firewall is not good practice. So how you can write the Ansible script to enable the rule for port number 8081, so that so that your outside guys can connect with Apache Web Server only. Okay, to have the remaining security in place. Okay, so technically there is a lot of steps I am going to add in between. So a lot of new keyword or a lot of new concept you're gonna learn today. Okay, but guys, before you configure yum, you'd also notice one more thing. Your what is yum? You guys know yum is the one who will tell you from where to pick the software and from where to get the software and install it. So my plan is to get the software from DVD. From DVD. Okay. And guys, I think you guys know basic Linux. So if you want to get a software from the DVD, so with that yum will go and get the software installed for us, right? So if you want to get the software from DVD, you have to first mount the DVD. Mount the DVD into some folder. Okay. So technically, it means my first step to be what? My first step to be to mount the DVD. Second step to tell the yum that if you want to install the software, either somebody call you manually or Ansible call you behind the scene. Okay, so if you want to install the software, I won't go to the DVD folder where we have mounted, retrieve the software from there. Okay, then after yum configure, then all the steps will be remaining the same the way we did till date. And now it is your choice. You have to do all the steps with the ad hoc commands, or you can write the playbook. I told you guys, playbook is always a great way to do all the things. It's very easy to keep on running the same code again and again. Okay. So guys, in this example, we keep on adding, enhancing this example day by day. You will see just in 3 or 4 days, we are going to build a one great project. Almost all the concept of the Ansible will be covered. Okay. And you will be so much mature in the Ansible. Any kind of use case come in the market. Maybe from the Ansible you want to configure Jenkins, or maybe from the Ansible you want to configure some kind of custom requirement, or maybe some kind of custom applications. Anything you want to do. But after this example, It takes 2 or 3 days to complete. You will able to complete and configure anything from the Ansible. Okay, so I think little bit I am clear, but when I start writing this code, you will come to know what exactly we are going to do. Okay, so finally our plan is to configure Apache Web Server, but we'll stuck today because because when we trying to install, one minute. So when we're trying to install Ansible, trying to install Apache Web Server with the help of Ansible, by chance, by chance we know Ansible call yum command behind the scene. But maybe there might be possibility that you don't know how I know. Maybe you can say how I know the Ansible calling yum command or apt-get command or dnf command. So there's a one way, guys, I will explain, show you today. So if you don't know which command Ansible is calling behind the scene, even though first of all we don't know, we don't have to know, but if you wanted to see which command behind the scene they are calling, so I have some way to show you those part also. Okay, so but I think you guys are now till now very much clear that Ansible work on a rel, resource abstraction layer. If you ask Ansible to create a directory, they will call mkdir command, but you don't have to know this command. Okay, that's part, guys. I think you guys are very much clear. Okay, but don't worry, it take 2 or 3 more days to become more comfortable with these concepts. Okay, so let's start writing the things. So today's my plan is to configure this newly installed Red Hat system with Apache server, and the IP of this system is 120. This 120. Okay, and this is a new system. Nothing is there. Okay, and there's no yum configured. This is the command you can use to check. There is no yum configured. Okay, and because my plan is to configure yum and telling the yum to get the software from DVD, and normally we get the DVD software from the DVD after mounting the DVD. So if you want to check how many, if you want to check that DVD is mounted or not, so you can use this command to check. So if you can see, guys, here there's no DVD mounted. How I know? Because if you mount the DVD, so in the file system you can see /dev/hd cd-rom, or maybe /dev/sr0. Okay, so df command is a one command in Linux through which you can confirm that your DVD is mounted or not. Okay, so right now if you see here, there's no name here in this line. There's no name called /dev/cd-rom, or maybe /dev/sr0. So these are name of Linux system has given to the DVD-ROM. So right now there is no DVD-ROM mounted. Okay, so first step is but obvious. We have to first mount the DVD. And guys, whenever you mount something, you have to always mount in some folder. Which folder? You can choose whatever folder you want to mount. Let's say I would like to mount in the folder called /DVD. Now again, one more step come up. If you want to mount something on the folder, this folder should be exist there, right? So right now, if in my system, if I want to check, does this folder exist? So DVD folder is by chance exist. Let me use other folder. DVD1 is not exist. Okay, so if you want to mount any partition or any DVD-ROM or CD-ROM, okay, you have to first mount in some folder. And because my plan is to mount in this folder, for example, DVD1, so if folder does not exist, obviously if I try to mount either manually or I try to mount with Ansible, it will fail. So again, it means I have one more prerequisite. So now prerequisite is what? I have to first create a folder. Which folder? /DVD1 or maybe DVD2, DVD3, whatever folder you want to create. This will be again first step for you. It means first you have to create a folder. After folder exists, then you have to mount the DVD. After DVD mounted, then we'll tell the yum go to this folder name called /DVD1 and get the software from there. And then after this, these are the steps we know we have done multiple times. So now for us, now first step would be create a folder. And how to get a folder? I can do manually, pretty straightforward, nothing special. But I told you, if you are planning to do automation, do everything with automation. Why? Because automation gives a code. And why is the good thing about the code is code we create once and we can keep on running hundreds and thousands of times. And every time we create a code, every time we run the code in any of the server, every server will be configured in the same way. Okay, that's our plan, right? So let's start from here. So I'll go to my controller node. Okay, and let me go to one of my let me create one extra folder here, workspace 2, and I'm going to write a code here. This will be my web server prerequisite dot yml. Just give any name. Okay. So this is the um, some kind of prerequisite we are configuring for the web server. Okay, and where would like to configure it in all the host. Okay, what is my task? Okay, my task is to first create the folder. Okay, now point is, guys, if you want to create a folder, you need a module name. Okay, and what is my module name? I don't know. So again, the same step, guys. Again, ask the Google or Doc. Ansible, I would like to create some folder. Do you have a module to create the folder? So here they give you some some example over here, and they say if you want to create a folder, then we have a file module. File module. Okay, so I'm going to use a module called file. Okay, and then in the file module, if you try to see maybe some of the examples you can see in the last. Okay, so in the file module, if you want to create a file, okay, but again understand one thing. If you see the state here, and if you see in the top the value of the state, okay, the state is you want to create directory or a file. Okay, so file is the by chance the name of module, but if you want to create directory, then the value of state to be what? Directory. So I say here I want to create a file, but this file is not a normal file. The state of the file is what? Is the directory. And but over, guys, if you want to create a directory or a file, you have to give the path. So maybe you can see some of the example you see here, they use the path. Okay, so path. And where's my path? My path is DVD1. That's all. So technically, because I know the steps, guys, again, I keep on repeating. If you want to configure something, if you don't know steps, or I can say if you don't know concepts, actually, if you don't know about the web server, if you don't know about the Yum, if you don't know about the Hadoop, if you don't know about Jenkins, whatever you want to configure, right? If you don't know the concepts, plus if you don't know the steps or your requirement, it is impossible to use any of the automation tool in the world. Okay, maybe Python or maybe Ansible. But only difference in Python, Ansible, you guys know. In the Python, you should know the command also, but Ansible give you the intelligence. They say you don't have to know the command that I will take care. That's the great thing actually Ansible is doing for us. Okay, so my first step is done. That's all. And I highly recommend, guys, as a good practice. Okay, just by typing some of the commands here or some of the code here, don't try to type all the code. Okay, just type. If you think one of the part is done and one of the step is done, save the file and run it. Okay, so by chance if you did mistake till here, they will give the error. Otherwise you can go ahead and see the things. And by chance in that one of the tasks they show you file task and color is orange. Whenever, guys, they show the color orange, it means success. Or whenever they show the color orange, it means the folder is not exist, means the current state was absent and they change it. We see here changed one. Means the folder was not exist, so they changed to our desired state, means they create the folder for us. But if I run the same script again one more time, I told you guys Ansible is idempotent, means okay, before they run this task again, this time they see is green. Why they green? Because they say I'm trying to run this code, but you ask me and your desired state is to create the folder. But before I create the folder, I just go and look over there, and folder already exists, or because folder already exists, I haven't run this code again. So there is no change. So, guys, this is one of the example of idempotence. It means if the things that already exist, what you ask me to do, so I don't run this code for you. Okay, this good thing means they skip this code for us. It will save our time and money also. Okay, and now if you just try to confirm, last time this folder was not exist, now it has been created. Okay, so good thing is now the folder created with the script with the code, and now we have the code. Same code we can run in hundreds of computers, right? And all the computer will have the same folder with same location with the same name. And this is a very common requirement even when you go for clustering, right? Or when you go for one kind of big environment, maybe after 2 days you will see one of the big environment we are going to create. Okay, so after having one code, and one code will do everything for us, you'll see it's so simple now, to configure the same environment or same server or same configuration hundreds of times without any big challenges. Okay, so step one is done. Now let's go to step two. Step two is to mount the DVD into this folder. Okay, so how to do this? Again, um, uh, if you want to do this, but before guys, I'll do. Let me show you one more interesting thing, right? Before I do go for second step. Okay, I told you guys multiple times. Okay, this is my controller node. This is my controller node, and this is one of my target or the managed node. Okay, and by chance, managed node is my Linux operating system. Okay, so whenever the controller node go to managed node, controller node automatically explore about the managed node. And are you Red Hat 8 or Ubuntu or what? Okay, and if you are Red Hat 8, so or maybe because you're Linux, I am going to use SSS command. Or because you are Red Hat 8 and you're asking me to install the software, we are going to use yum command. So everything is explored by the Ansible. Okay, how I know the Ansible explore the right command for us or right right resources for us. Okay, so if you want to see this, right, there's one way to check. Okay, so guys, whenever you're on the playbook, okay, if you see here, notice they are gathering something. This is the step actually behind the scene. Ansible is trying to gather what exactly they are doing behind the scene. Okay, but if you want to see what exactly they're gathering, so they're gathering information about 120 and asking 120, who are you? Are you Reddit or Ubuntu? And if you're Ubuntu, who is your package manager? Yum or DNF or apt-get? Okay, so this is steps, right? And guys, this is a very important topic. I think around complete one day, I will give on this topic, and the topic name is called facts. So we'll discuss there. Okay, but at this step, Ansible is trying to gather about the IP120. And right, who IP120, you guys know it is my inventory. Okay, this is one thing. So I'll show you guys how they're gathering the things in detail. We'll discuss in upcoming classes. But one more thing I just want to tell you here is, right, whenever guys you run the Ansible command, okay, let me run the Ansible command manually in the command line. Let's say let me use the module called M, and one of the argument, let's say, is called path. Path is called, let's say, DVD1. So I'm doing the same thing. So from the command line, okay, what I'm trying to tell you here is, whenever guys you use any ad hoc command, the good thing about the ad hoc command is ad hoc command give you some extra information to you. You know what they give you, these much information they give you. So whenever you use any ad hoc command, maybe you can use file module or package module or service module, they always give you some extra information. It's good, right? So there's extra information. Give me the information that what you ask me to do is success. You ask me to create this folder, is created. Or you ask me to do something, I have changed something, I don't change because the folder already exists. Or some extra information also they give you. Maybe they give you the return code or as exit code or something like this. Okay, so whenever you use any ad hoc command, the good thing about the ad hoc command, they always give you extra information. So it's good for if some kind of error come up, it is always good to debug the thing. But if you use any playbook will work behind the scene for us. I can say it is called silent. So they do silently. For example, here they do the same thing. They get directly. They show the green color or orange color or red color. Means it's done, fail or success or unsuccess, something like this. But they don't show you those much information. So something fail or something not fail or something happened, we don't know. If you want to try to debug what exactly happened behind the scene. So playbook, or at the time of playbook, they won't show you this information by default. So I can say by default, they work in a silent way. But if you want to see in detail, okay, whenever they run this task, what exactly they're doing behind the scene, okay, so that if something failed, you can debug. Okay, so if you want to see the in detail, it's called verbosity. And guys, in the Ansible playbook, if you want to enable the verbosity, you can use have a V option. With a V, it will show you some extra information about these tasks. So right now we are running only one single task called file module. So they show you what exactly they're done behind the scene. So you can use V options to see what exactly we have happened. It is good for two things. First, if something fail, by this option we can debug. We can see, okay, this is the reason why it's fail. And second thing is, if you want to see some extra information, right? What extra information? For example, okay, how I come to know, okay, Ansible using mkdir command or something extra, or mk or Ansible using yum command or dnf. So verbose option will give you some extra information also here. Okay, so let me run this command over here. And what they show you, first of all, they show you one interesting thing, that Ansible is using this configuration file, right? And guys, this is the main conf file, right? So whenever you use Ansible playbook command, Ansible will go to this file, and this is the main conf file of the Ansible. And from this file, they will pick up the inventory. And from the inventory, they come to know, hey, we are using 120 as IP address. Okay. Second thing is, they show you about the task. They say you asked me to install to do something on the file, and I have done those things for you. And if you try to see the same output, what normally we see in the ad hoc commands, same kind of output this one. So by default, guys, Ansible playbook command will hide all the information, or I can say they work on the silent mode. But you want to see what exactly they are doing behind the scene, you can use to enable, you can off the silent mode. That is called verbosity. But there's one more interesting thing is, if you want to increase more verbosity, so v means verbosity. Okay, so guys, normally in the Linux or maybe in the Windows or Mac, right, if I want to run any command, verbosity. Okay, so if we want to run any command, and if you want to see behind the scene what exactly the command is doing, so most of the commands support verbosity. Okay, sorry guys, spelling, I don't know why I'm writing verbose. So you can enable the verbosity. Okay, but most of the command, guys, support more verbosity. Means if you want to see more in detail, okay, so you can run 2Vs. So it will give you more information about what exactly they're running behind the scene. See here, so lots of things they show you, right? And if you go and go a little bit up, and what they show you here, they show you in this control node, now we are using Ansible, this conf file, this is the version of the Ansible we are using, plus some more extra information they show you. Okay, and they show you we are not using any kind of callbacks. Very powerful concept, callback. In my upcoming class of Ansible is some of the advanced concept in the Ansible we will discuss, guys. By chance, I don't think so. In our curriculum, we have a callback concept in detail. But in this class, I told you in the first day, we will take the Ansible class in more detail. So we will discuss callback there. Okay, but technically, they're trying to show you we are trying to call back something. There's some concepts, but it's not there. So I'm skipping those things. Plus, they're also trying to show you in this file we have one play. What is play? I told you yesterday, right? So this is one playbook, and this playbook we have only one play, and this is the play we have run. And this also show you some kind of handler. Handler is again one of the very interesting topic of Ansible. We will discuss in the future classes. So they're trying to show you lots of things they're doing behind the scene. Something they are missing, so it's skipping because it's not yet configured. But you want to see more verbosity, you can also enable one more time. So it will show you more options about this command. Okay, and now you can see lots of things there. And now it's look like very much interesting, right? If you go up, now from here you can very clearly mention that from 120 or to 120 we are doing SSH to the root user, right? So it's very interesting. Now it is very clear, right? Even though this is the way I explained to you that from this controller node, they are doing SSH to this IP to the root user. Okay, to the root user. So we can see that level of verbosity also, that whenever you use Ansible to IP 120 or maybe Windows IPs, which protocol they're using and how they're connected, and all things they show you behind the scene. So normally in the bigger environment, if you're running configuring thousands of nodes, you will see sometimes one or two nodes will fail in the terms of connectivity. So why they fail? Okay, where they stuck? Okay, so this verbose command will help us. They will tell you while doing SSS, maybe username is wrong or some kind of key issues is there. There's a reason they fail. So this verbosity will help us to do something over here. And plus lots of things they're doing here. they are doing for us. Maybe here somewhere also you can see they detected your OS name. This is Red Hat version 8, and they say because this is Red Hat version 8, so we have to call yum command or dnf command, something like this. And plus, this command also they show you in very much detail, very much detail. Okay, they get the folder. Plus, you're going to see more verbosity. You can use write one more time. So I think 4 or 5 level of verbosity you can go. It will show you more and more detail about the system. Even though anybody who know by chance sudo, they will show you the sudo connection also. By chance, guys, don't worry if you don't know the sudo. In my upcoming class of Ansible, we will discuss about the sudo. But if you see here, there's a lot of things they show you. Right, very much useful when we go for some advanced setup of the Ansible. These are things we're gonna use. Okay, so but a lot of things if you see they find the version also and other things also for us. Okay, so this is one thing. So I suggest guys, while doing or running the Ansible, okay, try to also try to run the verbosity, so it will give you uh, uh, a practice actually. Okay, maybe thing is working good for us, but just also always consider when you're trying to implement Ansible in the real world, most of them it will fail. Who gonna help you? Who gonna help you? Okay, so this verbose command is one of the great command who will help you to debug if something is not working for us. Okay, so this is one thing. So let's come to continue with our this topic. So step one is done, folder created. Okay, let's go for step number two. I would like to mount the DVD. But how to mount? Obviously, you have to use some kind of some kind of um, some kind of task or the module. So let me write one more task here. Okay, what's the task name? We don't know, right? And I think you guys know task is exactly equals to the module name. So just go and search again in the Google and say Ansible. I would like to mount something. Do you have any module for the mount? So maybe somewhere over here they say yes, we have a mount module. Okay, if you want to mount something, you can use this. And always, guys, in this document, always go down. They give you pre-created commands, and this is what exactly we are looking for. So if you want to mount the DVD, this is the pre-created code they given to us. So we can copy paste from here. Okay. So I can say yes, I would like to mount something. If I like to mount, I would like to mount DVD. Okay. So here, if you see, the path is what? Sorry, the source is what? My DVD source. And normally in the Linux, guys, DVD is known by a device called dev CD-ROM. So this is the device we used for the DVD. Either you can use dev CD-ROM or you can use SRC0. Same thing. So both are the same name, right? So this is the name we given to the DVD. And where will you like to mount the DVD? Okay, so I would like to mount the DVD on the folder called DVD1. Why? Because this is the folder we have created already. So I want this folder to be used to mount the DVD. But for this, we need some kind of keyword. So here we can see the path is one of the keyword we can use. Okay, and this is the name we have given. This is the name we have given. So put as a string. That's all. So technically, if I run this, it will mount the DVD-ROM for us. Okay, anybody who have gone through my partition classes. So in my Linux partition classes, I told you there, if you want to mount something, there's two things. Do you want to mount permanent or do you want to mount temporary? Okay, if you want to mount permanent, then we have to write the entry in fs step file. Okay, but if you want to run the temporary, means right now, then we don't have to write the entry in fs step file. Okay, that's what guys we have to check here. So if you see here, the state. So do you want to mount right now? Then we have a mounted option. Mounted options. So if you see the mounted options, it means device will mount right now. Something like this. Okay, and there's no mount point exists in FS step file. So I think guys, because I've always shared you my partitions classes that talk about what is mount, what is mean by permanent mount, temporary mount, and all the things. What is FS step file? So by chance if you miss, I highly suggest just go through those classes because you are into 294 training. Okay, so partition is a very prerequisite for this training. even though very basic topic parsons, but if you might just miss, just go through those classes. Okay, so here I'm changing my state to mounted. Okay, and one more thing, guys, over to understand over here is whenever you mount anything, I think you guys know, whenever you use any storage, maybe floppy, maybe DVD-ROM, CD-ROM, hard disk, partisans, cloud storage. If you want to use any storage, you have to always mount. Okay, without mount, you can't use any storage. Okay, but before you mount, you have to format the storage. But if you talk about CD or the DVD-ROM, they always come with a pre-formatted. Like in Windows partition, we have an NTFS format type. Like in Linux partition, we have ext4 format type. Okay. Similarly, if you talk about DVD or CD-ROM, they also have a format type. And the name of the format type is called ISO9660. This is the name of the format type. So any DVD-ROM you have, right, they come up with the format type normally with ISO 9660. How I know? We can see in any of the articles, or maybe in this page also you can see. If you want to mount any DVD-ROM, the format type is ISO 960. And format type guy, it is also known as FS type, file system type. So you have to mention over here that my format type of this device is ISO 960. That's all. Okay. So technically, I'm using Ansible code to mount my DVD-ROM in the folder called, sorry guys, mistake, DVD1. Okay. So this is a folder I'd like to use to mount my DVD-ROM. Okay. So let me test this, right? So before this, I go to my target node. You can see nothing is mounted from CD-ROM to DVD1 folder. But after I run my playbook, I can run for verbose mode, or let me run without verbose. Let me use one verbose, single verbose mode. So first step is already done. So they will show the green color. next step, they show you orange color. It means it's successful. Okay, but they've changed. Means they found it that the DVD-ROM is not yet mounted, but they have mounted for us. Okay, and now if I go to my target node, this is the command. You can see how which all the device has been mounted in which of the folder. So what can you see? So in the last line, if you see, okay, the last line, if you see over here, 1 minute. Okay, so previously we don't have any DVD-ROM mounted, but now you can see this is the name of my DVD-ROM and it's mounted over here. That's what we want. And guys, if you know anything about the Linux DVD-ROM, right, or Linux DVD, right, it come up with the multiple softwares. So according to my system, this is the folder where we have lots of software available. Now the next point is I can tell my yum, if you want to install a software, go to this folder. And in this folder, you can find lots of software. So for the yum, this folder is known as repository. Okay, but for this, you have to configure the yum. And now it is your choice. You want to configure yum manually, or you want to configure the yum with the Ansible. That would be your choice. So second step is done. Second step is done to mount my DVD-ROM. This part is done. Let's go for third step. Third, we have to configure the yum. Okay, so we have to configure yum. So how to configure yum? If you guys know how to configure yum, you guys might know you have to go to folder called etc yum.repos.d folder, manually go here, create the file, write some keywords. It will configure the yum for us. This is a way you do, or you can ask the Ansible. Ansible will automatically do this thing for us. And good thing about Ansible is, right, sometimes you don't have to tell the Ansible where to configure the yum, because it what always, and yum is always configured in this folder. Yum is always configured with the extends.wrapper file with some keyword. So you don't have to worry about these names. Ansible will automatically take care for those part for us. Okay, you just tell Ansible that I want yum to be configured. That's all. And you tell Ansible one more thing. Okay, for yum, this is my repository. And guys, I'm taking today's class in such a way that I consider that you guys know Yum, you guys know how to configure Yum manually, and you guys know what is mount and the partisans, or sorry, what is DVD ROM. Okay, because these are the basic classes we have already shared with you. So I consider that you guys know those concepts. Okay, I'm just trying to show you that you guys know the concepts, but I'm trying to show you how to do the same thing that you do by chance you know manually with the Ansible. And what is the approach we have to use. Okay, so now third step is to configure Yum. But by Sangha, you know one more thing I believe, that whenever you mount your DVD contains somewhere around 6,000 plus softwares. Okay, and all the software I mounted over here. Okay, but guys, in the Red Hat version 8 DVD that I mounted over here, okay, some of the software come in the folder called app stream, and some of the folder software come in the folder called base OS. So in Red Hat version 8 DVD, this is the DVD of the Red Hat version 8 that we already mounted. Okay, some of the software come in this folder, some of the software is stored in this folder. So why is it important? Because we have to tell my Yum and say, Yum, if you want to install the software, okay, pick some of the software from this repository, pick some of the software from this folder. Okay, because obviously how Yum know? Okay, Yum duty is to go to this folder to install the software. But for this, you have to tell Yum only once, first time, while configuring the Yum from which particular folder you have to pick the software from, or you have to retrieve the software from. Okay, right now my Yum is not configured. Again, I can show you very quickly. So if I go to my target node, and this is the one of the command you can use for testing. So in the last line, you can see there's no repository available. Yum is not configured. And our plan is to configure Yum. But before configure Yum, your system should have some software available, right? And this is the folder that's called /DVD1 has a folder that contain two folder app stream or base OS that contain the software. Okay. So how to configure Yum? Again, this is my next step. We'll again ask the Ansible document, Ansible, that I would like to configure Yum. Do you have any module for the Yum repository to be configured? They might give you one of the link like this. Okay. And over here, they tell you if you want to configure the Yum or remove the Yum, this is the name of the module you can use. Okay. So that's what we are going to do here. So I'll go to my same file. Let me add one more module or the task name. This is called Yum repository. Okay. And guys, if you notice one thing, file is one of the tasks, mount is one of the tasks, and Yum repository is one of the tasks. And because there are three tasks, so they are list. So task is the one list of three tasks. Okay, so task is a list. Because they're list, so I start with hyphen. And because they are belongs to one, they belong to same keyword task, or they belong to same block of code. So I give the same space here. There are two space here, two space here, or two indent here. Otherwise, it will fail. Okay, so you have to follow the indentation. Okay. Now in the Yum repository, okay, you write the arguments here or the parameter here. How I know? Obviously, I don't know. I have to go to my document. And then over here, you can see the keywords they support, or the options they support, or the parameter they support. Either read from here, or better is always go to one of the pre-created examples over here. So, okay. So now it look very clear. Okay, if you want to configure Yum, you have to give the module name we have given. Then you have to give the base URL. Where is your software located? Okay, so base URL for me is what? DVD1. That's all. And you the path, the complete path is /DVD1. So my base URL is DVD1. That's all. Okay. Now let me try to run this. Let's see it is work or it failed. So I am running this playbook again. Task 1 is already configured. So they skip task 2 already configured. They skip means they say I am idempotent. So the green color come up. They don't change anything. But task 3rd is failed. And if you try to see, guys, in this message, because I start with verbose, so you can see they show you message and say the missing requirement argument is name. Means what they're trying to tell you here is in the error that in this yum repository, right, you have written one argument called base URL, but there one more argument we need is called name. It means if we go to Ansible document, we have name argument also. Even though you go up also, okay, there's a lot of arguments here or parameters here, right? Here proxy username, proxy password, a lot of parameters here. But if you see, there's name parameters also there. So some of the parameter is compulsory to write. If you don't write this parameter, they will fail. So guys, module to module. So guy who write yum repository module, they say I support lots of parameter depend upon your requirement, but some of the module is compulsory. Sorry, some of the parameter is compulsory. Okay. So sometime in the document they will mention you here properly that it is compulsory. For example, maybe somewhere in some of the example you see they mention here it is compulsory. In some example here path they say required. So guys, it's all depend upon the document who create this document. By chance, who the guy who create the document for this module, they mention very clearly if you don't write path it will fail. But by chance the guy who write this document, they doesn't write for us as a help and support that which option is compulsory. So the only way to achieve is you just try hit and trial, right? Just type this. If they fail, they normally show you the error and say name is required. It means you have to go and type name. A name would be, let's say, my DVD. Let me save this. It's just a name of the repository. Let me run one more time. Let's see, maybe there might be some more requirement of my argument. Again, they fail. And they say we require one more parameter that's called description is required. So again, if you go to Ansible document, you can might see description also exists here. See here, descriptions. And it is just a name to describe why you create this repository. So technically, these are the I can say the required parameter. So what are the required parameter you have to write here? Discussions like my yum DVD for package, something like this. You can write some description over here. Okay, let me try one more time. So guys, document is always good, but not always document is explain you everything what exactly we need. So we have to do some kind of hidden trial also, because Ansible these kind of tools are guys very new tools, very mature but very new tools. So they keep on enhancing the document, but till that time we have to manually test in this way also. Now there's orange color, it means whatever you're asking is done. And because if you run one same code, they will do your changes. You can see change is true, one time change. Second time if you run, they see the whatever you repository you want is already there. They don't change for us. There's no change. It's called idempotence. So finally, guys, my this manage node, we have the gem configured. And how can I confirm? You can use this command to confirm. Now you can see some kind of name of the package come up. Last time it was no repository. Here they show you something. But here, guys, they show you fail to synchronize. Why they say you fail to synchronize? Because I have given the path till slash DVD. Okay. But slash DVD1 doesn't contain the software. Okay. Your software is located inside the folder called AppStream and ABSOS. And how I know? Because of my basic Linux concept. And if you guys go to my basic class of Linux, they are explaining you. So Reddit provided you DVD, and inside DVD, they don't give you software directly. All the software either located in AppStream folder or base OS folder. So they're two different folders. Or because they're two different folder, it means you have to create two different repo for this. Okay. And how? Again, you get to Ansible. And Ansible, one of my repo is here slash AppStream. And guys, the next is app, case sensitive. A and S is capital here. So this is one of my repo. Okay, and let me copy these lines. Okay, and second repo is base OS. And guys, this is the process. Step by step, I'm doing all the things for you, and especially those guys who are going for the Red Hat examination, main global examination. This is very highly recommended, very useful, and very much powerful, interesting exam of the Red Hat global exam. So when I go for exam bootcamp, I will explain you there more. Okay, so these kind of questions come in the examination. They say we have given you one DVD and you have to configure it, and they say we know how to. They say we know that you know how to create the yum manually, but I don't want to do anything with manual. I want, even though configure the yum also you do have to do with the yum with Ansible. Sorry. Okay. So so these are the questions guys come in the examination, right? There are a lot of advanced questions also come up in the Red Hat global exam. It's a very powerful exam, very interesting, a real exam, right? I can say. Okay, that is one of the reason why this exam has a huge value in the job or in the market. Okay, but if you don't know the concept, first of all, second, if you don't know how to use these kind of documents, and how to use the approach that I'm going to explain you multiple times, I keep on explaining you, you will stuck. Okay, that's the one of the interesting, one of the important part, right? But don't worry, guys. For you, examination won't be the big deal. And those who are appearing for the examination, because I will do the exam boot camp after this training. That will be again free of cost for you. So it will be prepare you guys for the examination. Okay. So this is my description number one, description two. This gives some unique name and unique descriptions here, and uh, that's all. Let me let me run this now, because we know by chance DVD contain two folder, and all the two folder is the repository for the yum. So we have configured the, or we are configuring the repository. Okay, and if you very quickly want to check, okay, if you go to by chance, let me check by this way, yum repo list. What you will see, okay, anybody who know by chance yum, if you see this kind of message, the last two lines, this message clearly mention that the yum that we have configured is been configured. If you see last these two lines, right, it means we have configured two yum. This is the first one that contain 4000 plus software. This second URL, this contain 1600 plus software. Okay, and those the guys who know how to configure yum, you guys know it takes some time actually to configure the yum, manually go and create the file. But now Ansible has done all the thing for us, and good thing is now we have the code ready, right? Same code I can run in all the thousands computer, and all the thousand computer guys yum will configure the yum for us. Okay, sorry, Ansible will configure yum for us. So that's a good thing. So always consider, guys, don't consider that why we have to take a lot of pain here to write a code. We are not writing the code only for one computer, right? Our intention is to run this code multiple times and hundreds of times in the future in other nodes also. Okay, that is our intention. So finally, yum has been configured. Or maybe you can check one more way. Those who know yum, so you guys know we always create the yum in this folder. And if you notice here, they already created these files for us, right? It's called my dvd1.repo. They create this file. They create the file called my dvd2.repo. Again, these are the keyword they update for us. Okay. So whatever guys you write in the description, they write in the name variable. Whatever you guys give the name of the repo, they create a file with the same name. Okay. So whatever guys you write here in the description, they update in the yum file in the name variable, and whatever you write as a name, okay, they given the file name with this way. A good thing about, if you notice guys here, you don't have to tell the Ansible where to create the folder or where to create the file. So Ansible know this is the fixed location for the yum. I have to go to this folder. I have to get the file with extend.repo, and I have to write the file keyword with this. So Ansible know everything for us. You have to just tell where is your DVD, where your software located. Your software located maybe in your DVD, your software located maybe in some of the URL of the internet. So wherever the software located, you just give that location. That's all. Otherwise, Ansible will configure everything for us. So technically, my step number third has been configured. Folder created, DVD mounted, plus yum has been configured. Now, guys, after yum configure, you guys know how to do the further things. So after yum is there, you can install any of the software that is available in your DVD. If by chance in your DVD, this software is available, you can install it. So how to install this part, you guys know multiple times we did. Very quickly, let me do it for you. So I'm going to install some package here. Okay, and name of the package is httpd, and my state to be what? Present. That's all. And this is the name we have given. Okay, and present the pre-defined keyword, so we don't write in the double quotes, right? So let me test this part also. So in this computer, guys, I don't have this software installed. Okay, but let's see how Ansible will help us. Because Ansible behind the scene use yum. Okay, but yum was not configured, but now we have configured, but it failed. It failed, and they say we fail to install the software. Okay, even the message is very clear why they fail, but let me try to use some more verbosity if they try to help us to give more explanation if possible why they fail. So let's see what extra explanation they give to us why this time they fail. So they say they fail due to some GPG, and if you try to see these messages, okay, these messages might not be very clear to you guys maybe, but anybody who knows something about yum, so they know in the yum okay, whenever you use the yum, you have to provide the GPG keys. Okay, but by chance we don't have a GPG key right now, so what we have to do, we have to disable GPG key. What I mean by this, okay, if you go to yum repository and there's option called GPG key, okay, and we GPG key check, we have to disable it so that they won't check the signature for us. And even though, guys, if you goes to my one of the basic classes, well, next I told you there, whenever you guys configure yum, okay, try to disable the GPG key. And you know, we always mention the GPG check equals to 0 or GPG check equals to false. Okay, even though it's not good practice for security to disable GPG key, but just for initial testing, we are disabling the GPG, because if you don't write GPG check equals 0 here, okay, you have to pass the key, and for the key you have to write some extra things over here. To make it very simple or faster, what I'm going to do, I am going to this file and disabling GPG key. But again, I don't want to do manual. So I again go to my Ansible code, and here I can write yum. After you configure the yum, I want your GPG check should be no, or should be, I don't know what option they support, should be no. Okay. Okay, same here. I'm writing for this yum also. Again, guys, I'm considering that you guys know about yum, and those who know about yum, these are the options we always do manual, but right now I'm doing this thing with the Ansible. Okay, and if you don't disable the GPG key, you won't able to install the software, because in my cryptography class I will explain you more about why we need the signature. But technically, if GPG key is not disabled, we have to provide software. If you don't provide the software, you won't able to if you don't provide the key, you won't able to install the software. That's the main thing. That's the reason, guys, they give the error that we need some GPG signature. Let me again run the code for us. So So a lot of output come up, guys. We are going to use this output a lot in the future classes. Today just a fifth day, but as we go more in depth, we'll see. But because if you notice one thing, now the software is installation done. Written code is 0, means success. There's no error come up. That's nice thing. Okay. And if you try to see here, somewhere I have seen, if you try to see here, 1 minute, I just want to show you one interesting thing. uh, I've seen here. Okay. Ansible automatic come to know that you are using Red Hat version 8, and for Red Hat version 8 we have to call DNF command. DNF is like a yum command. Somewhere they show you here. Okay, somewhere I missed, but you can just try. Yeah, here it is. So they call the module called DNF. So it's an interesting thing, right? So technically, if you talk about the package module, so package module is the one who give the Ansible intelligence for the package management. And the good thing about package module is, right, whenever you run package module against Red Hat 6, they call yum command. Red Hat 8, they call DNF command. Ubuntu, they call apt-get command. Okay, and this is the script behind the scene they written for us. So I go for this script in the upcoming future classes, but they mention you here very clearly. Okay, which script we are calling behind the scene. So anybody who want to see how Ansible is intelligent or what kind of intelligence they use behind the scene. So this is the file, you can go and open the file and read it. But for this file, you should know the Python actually. So those who know license Python, they can go and read this file, and you get the idea how the Ansible has been written. So guys, in my upcoming class, I'll try to open these kind of files also for you. It's not at all the part of your training, but I will open for you so that you'll get the idea. Why you need the idea? Because Ansible is so powerful tool. Okay, but there's something is not exist in the market, right? Because in some of the corporate environment, we have some kind of customized requirement, and for those customized requirement, we don't have the module available. And that time, or maybe we have module available, but module doesn't support some of the things that we need, because these are very different customized requirement. Then we have to open this kind of file and change somewhere. So I'll go to that level in my upcoming classes, but I just want to tell you, okay, that Ansible is doing the intelligence. Means according to this same diagram, okay, Ansible go to this computer and say, hey, I know you are Red 8, and because my requirement is install the software, and for install software, I know you support DNF. So I know how to call the DNF. So I have the internal module for the DNF. They will call the DNF in your computer, and it will install the software for us. It will install the software for you. It's something like this. So by this debug command, you can see what exactly they are doing behind the scene. Okay, but finally, what I need is, let me run this software without the verbose mode. I need is to install the software. They are installing for us. Okay. So after this, guys, you know multiple things. After software install, you can upload the file. After upload the file, you can start the services. So let me do very quickly. Right. Let me write one more code here. Okay. Now I would like to upload the file. Okay. So I can use copy module. Okay. My destination would be this part. We run multiple times already in this file. And guys, again, in the copy module, there's two things. Either you want to upload the file, then you can use source keyword, or there's one more way. If you don't have the file, you directly put the content on the file, inside the file. So there's a one keyword called content keyword we have. So if you go to Ansible docs, Ansible copy module, and in the copy module, okay, there's a keyword called content. Okay, I instead you can use src keyword, but if you use src, you should have a file in your local computer, and from there they upload. Or if you don't want to use, read the code here. This is my web website. Okay, you can write here. So let me run it very quickly. So multiple tasks we have written here, guys. Task number 3, 4. This is the fourth task step. I can say this is the fifth step where I'm creating a web page, and six tasks it would be start the services. Or maybe in between there will be a lot of tasks is keep on coming up. We keep on adding. And good thing is all the tasks I have written in the code. So if you want to add some more tasks in between, we can very open the code, add extra task in between, whatever we want to achieve here. So task number this is completed. Now if you go to my manage node, we'll see in this folder, this file created, and this file, this is the content come up. By saying this content, the last line, this doesn't come with the new line, but we're going to give the new line. Open the code again, and guys, this YML support new line character also, so you can write \n. Okay, so whenever you write \n in the string, they will work as a escape sequence, means the new line character. Okay, but understand one thing. Okay, whenever you use any kind of special character in the string, so in the YML code, especially in the Ansible, if you want to use any escape sequences like \n, \t, or you want to use any variables, okay, in the string, then your string should be into double quotes. So anything in the double quote can be parsed, otherwise it won't parse. It means if you use anything in the single quote, it won't parse for us. What I mean by this, let me show you. But right now, if you see here, it's come with the new line. But same string, if I write in the single quote, even though I write here \n, but Ansible treat this guy as a, or I say YML treat this guy as a literal, means they will copy as it is. They won't process \n as a new line. So in the Ansible, by chance who know Python single quote, double quote has the same meaning. But if you talk of YML, or I say if you talk of the Ansible, single quote and the double quote has a different meaning. If you want anything to be stored or copy as it is, or use as it is, then put those things in the single quote. If you see here, \n will copy. Okay. So it is your requirement what exactly you want to copy. My requirement is to process \n as a new line character. So I put in the double quote. Okay. And the final thing is I would like to start my services. So service name is httpd, and my state is to be present. Sorry, started. Okay, that's all. And guys, you know one more thing. Whenever you start the service in Linux, service always run temporary. So if you want to start the service permanent, now is very interesting thing here. Okay, if you want to start the service permanent means at the boot time, means after system reboot, automatic service starts. So till Red Hat version 6, if you want to start any service permanent, the command is called check config. Check config, then service name, then on. So till Red Hat version 5, 4, 6, this is the command we used to start the service permanent. But from Red Hat version 7 and 8, this version doesn't support this command. In this version, the command is called systemctl httpd. Sorry, enable httpd. This command is support. Okay, so it means that, you know what I'm trying to tell you here is same thing. Okay, till Red Hat version 6, the command is different. To enable the service at the boot start means to start the service, to to enable service permanent. But in Red Hat 7 or 8, the command change. It means if you use any scripting language like Python, it will fail. Because in the Python or shell scripting, we have to use the command because they are the imperative languages. So till Red Hat 6, if some of the script work of the Python, same script you want to run in Red Hat 7, it will fail because check config command doesn't support there. But the good thing about the Ansible is same keyword either use on Red Hat 6 or either use on Red Hat 8, they will work for us because Ansible work with the concept of rel. Means all the resources is been hide, abstracted, And so say I am giving you one keyword to do everything for us. Okay. And because it is all about services, so if you go to Ansible and search Ansible, do you have anything for services? So they say yes, we have a service module. Okay. And in the service module, you have to give the service name. Do you want the service to be start right now? But if you want the service to permanent enable, then we have one keyword called enabled. It will start your service at the boot time. It's permanent enabled. Now it is not important you are using Red Hat 6, Red 8, Ubuntu. Just use this keyword. I will enable this service permanent for you. So technically, you can use keyword called enabled because to whatever they support. They support yes or no. I say yes. That's all. Now, if I run this code, so guys, whatever we have planned today, okay, maybe some of the steps I repeat, but I given you some extra information also there. Okay, but main plan was this one. Okay, so technically, I want my IP 120 to be configured as a managed node. But in the managed node, we need sometimes some extra things that we always need. Okay, and that's what we have configured. Okay, and finally, this is IP 120 become web server. And how I confirm? I can use systemctl status httpd, and you can see service started. And if you see in the second line is enabled. Enabled. It means the service permanent enabled. And now because this is a web server, so I can open my browser of my Windows and see what about your 120. So they say IP 120 is what? Why it's not connected? Let me ping. 120 is pinging. Why not connected? Maybe because guys, your normally Linux come up with the firewall. So maybe there might possibility in the system that you configured is enabled with the firewall. It means, okay, from outside, these are clients from the internet or from network. If you're trying to connect to your web server, so traffic or network traffic is coming in, and there might be firewall there, and firewall might not allowing this guy to come in. So now there's two way. Either you can disable the firewall. But again, guys, we have the firewall. Why we would like to disable? Because firewall is good for security. So what can we do? We can enable the rule for the firewall. Now again, the challenge here is, right, if you want to do something on the firewall, again, till Red Hat version 6, okay, we normally manage the firewall with a program called IP tables. And again, from Red Hat 7 and 8, we manage the firewall with a command program called firewall D or firewall or firewall D programs. Okay, it means firewall is firewall, security is security. But till Red Hat version 6, the command is different. In Windows, we have a command is different. In Red Hat 7, 8, command is different, right? So again, I would like to use a Ansible. And say Ansible, I want my firewall to be configured. And I want my firewall will allow something for me. Now, whichever the command they use, it is your lookout, right? My requirement is to enable the firewall. That's my plan is. Okay. So technically what I'm going to do in this 120 IP 120, okay, I have web server already configured. And you guys know, whenever guys you configure the web server work on the port number 80. And you guys might know web server also work on a protocol called TCP. So I can say in this IP 120, my web server is configured and working on the port number 80 and on the protocol called TCP. Okay. And by chance, this IP 120 is my Red Hat version 8. And by default, guys, all the Linux system normally come up with the firewall enabled. Means is here firewall is there. And what firewall is doing, if anybody trying to come in, and where they're trying to come in, so my client is coming where on port number 80. Okay, with HTTP protocol over the TCP protocol. Okay, so firewall is trying to stop. So what we have to do, we have to tell the firewall, anybody come in on 880 port, allow them. Okay, so either you can use your own command IP doubles if you know the command, or firewall D commands if you know the commands, or you can ask the Ansible, can you please manage the firewall for me? Okay, I don't want to remember the command, because if you know, guys, any command in Linux, especially firewall, they are big command, 1 or 2 lines of commands. So either you learn different of a command, okay, or better I can use the standard way. That's called Ansible. So I can go to again Ansible. Do you have anything for the firewall? So they say yes, we have something for the firewall also. Okay, and for the firewall, we have a firewall D as a module name, or maybe if you go down, they give you pre-care example. So we have firewall D as a module name. Okay, and so what I'm going to do here, same code. So firewall D is the module name. And what exactly we do like to do in the firewall? I want my port number, And guys, website work on the port number 80. Okay, I want my port number state to be what? So let me check my state to be what? Okay, so I want my state to be present, or I can say accept, enabled. So I want anybody who come to this port, we would like to accept the connection. So I want my state to be enabled. So state to be enabled. And what else we want? I want my my port number and state to be enabled. That's all. Okay. But again, guys, if you want to create a firewall rule, okay, your rule will create temporary. Okay. So do you want the rule to be created temporary or permanent? So I want my rule to be permanent. After reboot, my rule won't stop. So I can go for a keyword called permanent equals to yes. What else you need? Plus, I want my firewall to be effective immediately, right? So maybe you might see word called immediate. Means I want this setup to be applied immediate. Okay, otherwise you have to reboot the system. I don't want to reboot my system or my target node. I want it should be applied immediate. So immediate equals to yes or false, whatever the support. Yes. That's all. So technically, my requirement is I want my firewall to be apply immediate. Plus, I want my rule to be permanent enable. After reboot, it won't go. Okay. I want to apply on the port number 80. Okay, and I would like to uh, what state to be enabled, means I would like to allow this port, accept this port. That's all. Okay, so let me save this. Okay, and by chance, those who guys know a little bit about firewall in Reddit version 8, so this is the command normally we use. So firewall dcmd list command, or list port is something like this. Sorry, list. I'm not able to type. I don't know what is happening to me. Sorry, guys. Hyphen list port. Yeah, hyphen, right? So this command say, this is guys, I'm into the managed node right now, IP 120 managed node. This command say, in your computer, okay, none of the port is enabled. Okay, it means 80 port is blocked by firewall. It means any traffic come from outside on port number 80, we won't allow. Okay, but if port number 80 is allowed, you will see port number 80 will come up here. So this command will list all the port that is allowed by the firewall. There is no port number, it means everything is blocked. All the port number is blocked. Okay, but after I apply my playbook, because this playbook will will enable port number 80. So let's see what happens. So now they're applying the firewall, and the firewall is not able to apply, and the message is very legibly clear. They say improper port form, missing protocol. What I mean by this, so if you go to my document again, and document say if you want to use a port keyword, then you have to write in this form, port/protocol. It means, if you guys know anything about networking, okay, so normally STD port work on a TCP protocol. Okay, like DNS, if you know, DNS work on UDP protocol. Okay, so what you have to write, because your document say your syntax should be first port number, then slash, then protocol name. Okay, or because this is like a string, you can put in the double quotes. So this is syntax we support. And why we have to follow the syntax? Because we are using Ansible, right? Ansible is written by somebody else, and the developer who write the Ansible, whatever they say, what a syntax they support, you have to write in the same way, right? And that is the reason they write the document for us, so that we can follow the document and see what kind of syntax they support. Now it's good, right? So it looked like it has been changed. We can try one more time, because I have the idempotent nature. They'll see now port number 80 is already allowed. So we don't have to apply again one more time. So we can see this time the green color come up. But if you go to the manage node, you can see by this command, now you can see, because by chance we know the command, so we can go and verify. So let me share the command with you also. Now we can verify. Now port number 80 is allowed by the firewall. And now 120 IP is become my web server. Anybody who is connected to me, let's say my Windows is connected. And now from the Windows, if I try to run, connect to the server, I can see website come up here. Interesting, right? So guys, a complete web server has been configured from the scratch. Again, working great. But guys, same thing I can do with the manual with very less time. Because right now we are discussing though, so maybe it take 1.5 hours. But even though if I start writing the code, it might take 15 minutes. 15 minutes to write the code. But if you do the manual, it might take 5 minutes. So what is better, manual or automation? Okay, so it looked like manual is better. But technically, right, why we are going to add automation? Because right now, we have configured one server working fine. But we might have a lot of requirement come up, and very common requirement, right, come up, that we asked to configure one more server. Let me launch one more server here. So we had a bigger environment, we had a lot of traffic start coming, and somebody asked us to configure 100 more servers. And now because we have the playbook ready or the code ready, okay, what we have to do, only one small thing we'll do here. Okay, this is a new system we have. Okay, just we have to go to inventory and update the IP there. That's all. Okay, so one click, the same new system will be again configured for us. Okay, you don't have to again apply all those settings. So for example, let me pick this IP 174. In this system, guys, we don't have any web server installed. And even though 174, if you try to connect to 174, nothing is there. But we have certain requirement come up, and requirement is we are running with one server 120. We need one more server because we have a lot of traffic coming up to balance the traffic. And for this, we also have a load balancer that we'll start configuring from tomorrow, right? So if you need one more server, if you do it manual, again, you have to do all this step manual. But now because we have the code ready, okay, so what we have to do, we have to just go and open the inventory file, type the IP there. That's all. That's the only thing you need do. Just type the IP with login and password. Okay, now we have one more inventory come up. So Ansible, all list host. And now without any change, same playbook I'm running, without any change, it will do all the thing for me. They mount the DVD, they create the folder, they mount the DVD, they configure the yum. See guys, now they're applying in all the computers. Right? And one see green, one is orange. Beginning 120 we already configure. 170 is one new one that is they're configuring for us. They're configuring for us. Okay. So all this step is configure us. And now if you need 100 computers, just go to open the inventory and write all the hundreds IPs there, and all the hundreds of computer will configure for us. And interesting thing is, okay, it will configure exactly the same way the IP 120 is configured. Exactly same way. It means if you want exact replica of your server, it will configure for us. Examples here. Set come right. 174 come up. If you need one more, open the system, start and configure it. Okay. So this is the power of the code. Second thing, first of all, they are Ansible, right? So even though this is Reddit 8, but if you go for Reddit 6 also, and other OS also, they will configure for us. Okay. So we don't have to worry about the commands and other things also. They will take care of all those things for us. Okay. So this is the one of the great thing. Okay. So technically writing the code might take some time, but after the code has been written, okay, doing same setup again and again, especially in the bigger environment, it will be very much powerful for us or interesting for us. So guys, this is some of the topic I have covered today. I will extend this example tomorrow. We'll go more in depth about the Ansible. Okay. And tomorrow I'm going to, we are going to set up the load balancer, very interesting concept, right? Where I show you this kind of setup, how powerfully we can use. And then we will talk more about inventory also, and some of the internal concepts of the Ansible, this playbook. So I believe that's all for today. I believe you also now a little bit more get the idea, the path, and the approach, plus why we need the playbook. Okay. So that's all guys for today, and see you tomorrow at 9:15. Any questions, any query if you have, you can ask me. Any query if you have, you can ask me. Yes, again, we are going to use role also in the future. So there's a concept guys called role on the Ansible. So we will discuss the role in the future classes. Guys, one more small thing. By chance, all of my VM is attached with the DVD. Otherwise, it won't able to mount. So if you see my this VM, if you go to settings, my DVD is already attached. See here, DVD attached. Otherwise, they won't able to mount. So my DVD is already attached. So I considered that my physical VM or my VM has already attached with the DVD. If your DVD is not attached, they won't able to mount. Okay, because if you want to mount any storage, you want that storage to be connected first. So the only consider for today's mount part is that you have your ISO file or DVD to be attached first. Okay. So why we can say yum when Apple is far better? No, Weber, Apple is one of the way to configure yum. EPEL is a one kind of software. If you install the software, it will automatically configure yum for us. But that yum they pointed to the internet. But we don't always want to get the software from the internet. I want to get the software from my other folder, or maybe from my I can say from my DVD. Okay, so for this you should know how to configure your own personal yum. But if you use Apple, Apple is also behind the scene configure yum for us. Rishabh, don't worry. It takes some time, to cope up with the new concept, right? So don't worry, try to understand all the concept in one go. Same concept will repeat multiple time in multiple angles. After some time, you become comfortable with these concepts. Don't worry. Siraj, yes, I will take some example of Ubuntu. So any query, if you have related to Ubuntu, don't worry, in 2 or 3 days, it will be covered. Okay, I'll take some example of Ubuntu also. Okay, so maybe I know in Ubuntu, we don't have yum, but if you don't have yum, how we configure yum there? Technically, they will call the apt-get command, but obviously yum is not there. We won't able to configure there. So those kind of questions, guys, Siraj, you have. Don't worry. In my after some classes, I will take those topic also. Sir, how are you, intelligent sir? Yes, so guys, all come with practice. How to configure all this AWS? Yes, Vishwajit, I will show you in my upcoming class also how to how to configure all the thing AWS. Please start Earth. Pankaj, Ansible is again one of the part of Earth. So Earth class is going on. Ansible is again the part of Earth. Okay, but yeah, we will soon start the remaining topic also. All right. Yes, Govind, playbook also work for Windows. What is load balancer? Tomorrow, guys, we'll start the load balancer topic, and then I show you how to configure the load balancer. I suggest, guys, before the tomorrow class, if you can practice today's topic, it will help you a lot. Yes, VMC, I'll try to take some classes on how to manage Windows host. Even though it's not a part of this training, I told you already, but maybe in the last class, I'll take one class or half class on how to configure Windows host using the Ansible. Arjun, yes, in the current playbook, RHEL 6 firewall, it will work for us. Okay. So even though if you run this playbook on the RHEL 6, it should work. Nice, sir. It help us to for Ansible. Yes, yes, Prabhajit. After today's class approach, a lot of use cases that you have to implement with Ansible, you can solve it. Or maybe after 2 days class, tomorrow or day after tomorrow, you will see almost all the major use cases that you want to be solved in Ansible. It can be solved. Because ISO 960 is just a name of the format type used in your DVD or ISO file. Like in Windows partition, we have a NTFS format type like this. In your DVD, normally we have ISO 960 format type. Guys, if you want to scroll up in the CLI, then we have this shortcut. So this is my CLI. Okay, and in the CLI, if you want to scroll up, okay, then we have a shift page up. So if you do shift page up, shift, press the shift, then page up and page down. So the black screen, if you want to scroll up and down, you can use shift key plus page up or page down. Having power to code is like a possessing superpower in this. Yes, yes, sir, Sarth, I agree. So what is repo for Docker? Avinash, by default, your Reddit DVD doesn't contain the Docker software. So you can find a lot of software of Docker from the internet. And the URL from where you get the Docker software is the base URL for you. So you can ask the yum to get the software from there. So if you go to my Docker classes, I also show you there how to configure yum for the Docker. Same way you can configure yum for the Docker using the Ansible. No, Nofal, you don't have to remember all the module and syntax, right? In the examination. Okay. I have some tips and tricks for you. In my examination bootcamp, I will explain you. Without knowing or remembering the module on the syntax, you can solve all the questions over there. How? In my exam bootcamp, I will discuss there. Yes, Ashir, we are going to discuss Jinja in very detail. Okay. So in my upcoming classes, I will talk about how to use Jinja and and what is the power of the Ninja. We'll discuss in very detail in my upcoming classes of Ansible. Aditi, in the copy module, now it is your choice. You want to use SRC keyword or content. Difference is if you use SRC, then any file that you have your local file in your control node, you can upload. But if you don't have any file, you want to directly put the content, then you can use a content option there. Why can't Ansible use RPM? Arjun, I think if you use RPM, right, RPM has a lot of issues. One of the issues is the dependency issue. Okay, so that is one of the reason Ansible wanted to use yum command behind the scene, because yum is the one who automatically resolve the dependency issue of the software. So again, guys, I just taking the class till now. All of your queries, guys. Again, I think most of query what you asked me yesterday has been solved today. Other query are what you ask me today, it will be solved in 2 or 3 classes, guys. Don't worry. Okay. So that's all, guys, for today, and see you tomorrow. And I suggest practice today's class, very important, because tomorrow very interesting, powerful demo we are going to implement that will purely depend on the today's class. Okay. That's all, guys, for today. See you. Bye. See you tomorrow. Bye. Take care. Good day. Good night.